Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. It's 69 degrees this morning, and somewhere late yesterday, we ended up with 1/100th of an inch in the rain gauge. That's not a lot, but I guess we'll take it. As we look to other notes, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has until next week to release a proposed rulemaking for 2026 renewable fuel standard volumes or face more litigation from at least one national ethanol interest group. Growth Energy announced its intent to sue the EPA if the 2026 renewable fuel standard volume proposal is not released. DTN reported in April that the White House Unified Agenda pushed an already late 2026 RFS proposal back to March of 2025 release. Not only is the proposal yet to be released, but by statute, EPA is required to finalize volumes by November 1 of 2024. That unified agenda, however, indicated December of 25 as a finalization date. On July 31st of this year, Growth Energy filed a notice of intent to sue for what the group said was a failure to issue RFS volumes. Growth Energy requested that EPA commit to promulgating the final volumes requirements by the statutory deadline, the group said in a letter to EPA Administrator Michael Regan. Now, EPA's decision not to timely perform its mandatory non-discretionary duty to issue the 26 volume requirements violates the Clean Air Act, Growth Energy said in its letter. It's also undermining Congress's directive that the RFS program force the market to create ways to produce and use greater and greater volumes of renewable fuel each year, and deprives market participants of the market certainty that is so critical to the long-term success of the renewable fuel program. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Another warm day to finish the week with high humidity values once again returning to Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. We have a frontal boundary that's marching towards us, but I don't think it impacts Ohio much at all today. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to be seeing the bulk of our frontal boundary effects here come overnight tonight through tomorrow. That's when we see good rains moving through the Buckeye State. Now, are we expecting pop-up showers and thunderstorms later today? Sure, it can happen, just like it's happened in spots the prior few days this week. But the frontal boundary itself likely starts tomorrow morning, going through midday, afternoon, and evening. We may not get rid of moisture completely until the pre-dawn hours on Sunday. Still penciling in at least a quarter to 1 inch of precipitation out of the frontal boundary passage for tomorrow, looking at 90% coverage with that rain. And then humidity values drop for Sunday. Should be a very pleasant day. And Labor Day looks very nice as well. Low humidity and a nice cool start. Great day for outdoor activities. That Canadian high that sets up over the Great Lakes for Monday is going to meander through in the east of the area for Tuesday, Wednesday, and into early Thursday. That, in my mind, says we see very pleasant weather conditions for most of next week. Starting to see temperatures come up Thursday afternoon and Friday. Humidity values coming up late in the week as well, but no significant moisture coming back to Ohio until Sunday the 8th, when we can see showers and thunderstorms. So the moisture that we pick up here in the next 24 to 48 hours is going to have to last us all the way through next week. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Joining me is Ryan Menyo from BA Genetics. And Ryan, this week, many soybean fields are showing this bronze or yellow color to them. What exactly are we seeing out there?
What we're seeing out in the fields is soybean vein necrosis virus. This disease has been detected all across the soybean growing regions of the United States this year, especially in Ohio. Usually starts in the upper canopy. Soybean vein necrosis virus is spread by soybean thrips. Thrips are a small insect barely visible to the naked eye that feeds by piercing the soybean plant. Their feeding activity then spreads the virus.
What does this virus look like in the field?
It starts as a yellowing chlorosis along the leaf vein. Over time, the yellowing becomes reddish-brown, irregularly shaped lesions, and eventually the tissue dies. The disease is typically limited to within the veins. It can be confused with other common soybean diseases like brown spot, bacterial leaf blight, Cercospora leaf blight, and sudden death syndrome.
How do you control soybean vein necrosis virus, and does it impact yield?
To control a soybean vein necrosis virus, you must control the soybean thrip that carries it. You need to control the thrips before they feed on the soybean plant and spreads the virus. To do that, you need to use an insecticide labeled for thrip control. The best and most economical time to control insects is the R3 growth stage. Once you see the disease, there's no known treatment for the virus in a plant. Unfortunately, thrips reproduce very quickly in hot, dry weather. As for soybean vein necrosis causing yield loss, current research shows no known yield loss, but with any disease, the possibility of yield loss could occur.
I've been visiting with Ryan Menyo. If you'd like to know more, please contact your local BA representative. USDA is awarding $35 million for 7 projects in 7 states through the Fertilizer Production Expansion Program. The funds will help U.S. fertilizer businesses expand nutrient production. The most recent USDA Fertilizer Program Expansion Program announcement awarded 7 projects in 7 states. USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack announced the grants at the 2024 Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa. According to the USDA's news release, the program provides grants to independent business owners to help modernize equipment, adopt new technologies, and build production plants. USDA has invested $286.6 million in 64 projects across 32 states through the FPEP, according to the release. These projects have created 768 new jobs in the communities across the country and will increase domestic fertilizer production by over 5.6 million tons. Awards were made to facilities in California, Iowa, New York, Oregon, Tennessee, Virginia, and Wisconsin. The largest award was $11.7 million, and it went to Advance 6, with the end being SIX, Incorporated, located in Hopewell, Virginia. The company is an ammonia sulfate producer that provides 31,400 agriculture producers with granular ammonium sulfate through the Midwest and the East Coast. The grant will be used to expand an existing facility. The plant expansion will increase capacity through equipment and storage activities. The project will expand the operational capacity by 195,000 tons per year and increase the total production to more than 36,000 ag producers. The Iowa project went to Quality Flow Environment LLC with an award of $4.7 million. The grant will be used to construct a new thermochemical manufacturing facility for production of fertilizer product made from dairy waste. The company utilizes waste generated from a contiguous dairy into a carbon product through a process called thororefraction. The process creates a high-quality, viable fertilizer product from animal waste feedstock. The facility is expected to generate over 540,000 tons of solid carbon-ready product annually, and that will be made available to local producers in the region. Back with more after this.
Time is running out to earn more for your acres. The Soil and Water Outcomes Fund pays farmers to begin or expand on-farm conservation, like reduced tillage and cover crops. Last year, they paid farmers an average of $33 per acre. They offer one-year contracts, and 50% is paid prior to verification. Get paid to reduce erosion, improve your soil health, and more. Hurry to their website to request a payment estimate, theoutcomesfund.com. That's theoutcomesfund.com.
Soybeans grown in Ohio and across the heartland are meeting the feedstock demand for clean fuels. Biodiesel is a clean-burning and reliable fuel that enhances engine life, power, and mileage. Plus, this high-performance fuel works in any diesel engine without modification. With biodiesel, we fuel the economy, do good for the environment, and support soybean farmers. Learn how using biodiesel can add value to every bushel of soybeans grown at soyohio.org. Farm state politics and policy took center stage Wednesday as Representative Glenn G.T. Thompson of Pennsylvania, the chairman of the House Ag Committee, and Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack took center stage at the Farm Progress Show. Glenn G.T. Thompson, the chairman of the House Ag Committee, was asked by a reporter about what would change if Vice President Kamala Harris will win the White House. I don't think anything's going to be different. In the end, she's flipping on everything she said she was going to do, and now she's really copying President Trump's talking points on everything, Thompson said. Thompson added he served with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in Congress, adding, I consider him a friend, but Tim was plenty far left when he was in the House and on the Ag Committee, and then he went off the rails when he went to Minnesota to become the governor. Thompson also criticized Walz for describing farm country as the land of rocks and cows, adding that was not meant to be an endearing description. Thompson also criticized how the Biden administration has changed forms for financial aid to look at assets versus income. And Thompson said that hurts farm families applying to colleges for financial aid. Kids from farm country are not going to be able to assess financial assistance to go to college, he said. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack also spoke at the Farm Progress Show and highlighted challenges with farm income while defending the administration on trade, even as the agricultural trade deficit widens. Time now for the Louis Dreyfus Grain Analysis, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished higher on Thursday, trying to finish out the week on a slightly positive note for the week overall. Yesterday, weekly export sales report came out. Old crop was not really super exciting, but we did manage to cobble together about 2 million tons worth of new crop soybean sales. So that got the market a little bit excited. Soybean markets finishing double digits higher. Corn was up about 3 to 6 cents, and we saw the wheat markets up 5 to 10 generally overall. Diminished liquidation as the long holiday weekend is creeping up on us here. The last full day of trade for Friday before 3 days off, with the market celebrating Labor Day. Volume of trade yesterday declined as traders were fixing to walk out the door. We probably will see a lower volume trade through the entire Friday session overall. Now we're looking at the crop conditions report and expecting declines again. Weather is part of that, especially over the central to eastern Corn Belt. However, after the peak of the heat on Tuesday, it really hasn't been that awful on the heat side over the past couple of days. Problem is, we're not seeing a lot of moisture. Frontal boundary will try and move through later tonight and through tomorrow in Ohio. That could give us a chance of moisture, but we did start to see exceptional drought sneak into far southeastern Ohio on the latest drought monitor report. That got a little bit of headline here as well. USDA reported another flash sale, but this time it was sorghum, 118,000 metric tons to China. It may be older business that's just being announced now because of China's slowing sorghum and barley imports into later October. Deliveries are not expected to be heavy in corn, beans, or meal on a wide spread. The September-December corn spread went out to 25 cents a bushel, with the December being premium. A new tropical system is forming in the Atlantic for the September timeframe, and we could see that putting a little bit moisture into the southern United States, but not seeing a big impact in weather up this direction. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. I got to repeat yesterday's closes because of the best numbers we've seen in a while. December corn, $3.96, up 5 1/4. November soybeans, $9.92 1/2, up 15 1/2. And next July wheat, up 6 1/4 at $5.85 3/4. Let's turn to the overnight now. September corn up 3 1/4 at $3.75. December up a penny at $3.97. Carry that out to March of 25, and your $4.14 3/4, up 3/4. September beans continue higher, up 9 1/4 this morning at $9.83. November's up 10 cents, bringing it to $10.02 1/2. Carry that crop to March, and you're at $10.32 3/4, up 9 3/4. In wheat, September, if you're carrying, it's up 3/4 cent at $5.25 3/4. July 25 new crop, $5.84 1/4, and that's down a penny and a half. Carry that out to September, and you're $5.95 3/4, down a penny and 1/4. In livestock, August cattle up $1.12 at $184.87. October down 72 cents at $177.90. October lean hogs, $82.15, up 50 cents. December up 62, closing 72.55. October feeder cattle down $1.90 at $236.67. And September Class 3 milk up 9 cents this morning at $22.27. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.